I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Julpy and Ghosty.
Immortal, mighty Ravendark. This is from the True Cult.
Yep.
The most mysterious, exclusive alliance in our Patreon community.
Yep.
It's $1 at the gate.
We're not even sure if they're part of our community or if they're someone else's. And they somehow slide into our reactions.
Seduct. So there you go, guys. This is a True Cult. If you're into black metal, we listen to. You'll notice that this channel we listen to a lot of obscure bands, etc., etc. And it's because we're trying to be an audience-driven group. So anyway. This is Mighty Ravendark from the band Immortal. I guess this is more recent. Yeah, 2018. Northern Chaos Gods.
Apparently they had some changes in the group and stuff. And
well, some of these guys, like, they're able to do an entire band and produce a whole record. And it's only like one or two guys.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what the case is here from what Damon was saying. So
yeah, like Damon Sage, who's my black metal connoisseur, basically said that these guys are... basically two guys doing this whole record, which is pretty crazy. Guitars, drums, and then whatever. Okay, so here we go. Immortal, Mighty Ravendark for timely topical political commentary. Can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori, and let's do it.
Go. Wow. That's pretty crazy that guy was not the singer.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a pretty good talent for that, right? Just sitting there.
Well, these guys are mega talented. He also does drums, according to Damon. So yeah. Blashyrkh is I'm on Encyclopedia Metallicum.
No, you were wrong. That's not what Damon said. Demonaz guitarist also takes on vocal duties and
Hugh remains on drums. So, Blashyrkh is a fictional kingdom created by immortal guitarist and lyric writer Demonaz. Nearly all of his lyrics are based on it since about 1995. So, Blashyrkh is mentioned here. Mm-hmm. Blashyrkh by name, Blashyrkh by fire, whatever. But it's something that he made up, I guess. He's been writing about this place for 20 years.
Yeah, I'm interested.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The whole concept of making up a kingdom and things like that is, like, the first time I really thought about it was Tolkien. Mm-hmm. When I ran into, I wouldn't say the guy's a Tolkien scholar, but the guy, when there's a whole language, there's a whole Elvish language.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
There's a whole...
Don't they have, like, even a dictionary? And
history, there's the lore, the history, and all that. Yeah. And that's got so many implications as far as, what we're trying to do as human beings when we do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When we write stories like that. And it doesn't matter from what perspective you're coming from, whether, obviously for us it matters if you're a Christian. Yeah. You're going to look at it one way, you're atheist, but whatever. But the larger question to me is, like, what is the impulse in us dedicating so much time and effort to write these stories, create these characters, create a language? Yeah. If this Encyclopedia Metallicum thing is true, then this guy has been writing about this thing for almost 30 years.
That's wild, right?
And so, like,
it's cool, too, like, that he kind of came up with it. I'm sure it kind of grows and... I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we were talking about, not Tolkien, the Harry Potter lady. I forgot what her name was. But the lady that wrote Harry Potter, and in Harry Potter, we haven't seen all of the movies. We haven't read any of the books. I haven't seen all the movies.
I have seen all the movies, and I did not read all the books.
We've seen all of them?
No, I didn't see them with you. I saw them previously.
All of them?
All of them.
Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Or Lord of the Rings? When?
Harry Potter. Back, when I was with my ex.
Well,
watched all of them. Yeah.
Well, so apparently people die in that.
I just don't remember a lot of it. Like, it would all be new to me, basically.
J.K. Rowling, there it is.
You got it.
Yeah. So, like, she'd talk about how she'd cry when she wrote the deaths of these people.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Makes sense to me.
That happened in the Bible Boogie. We were having a discussion about.
Yeah.
Because the point, I think Ian brought it up. But the point was to say, well, what's the point of crying? You can just rewrite the story. Mm. Like, you're omnipotent in that sense. Yeah. So what's the point of crying about it? And the point was to make the connection between how God in the Bible can be grieved and upset about things when he's supposedly outside, and then if you then if you take certain theological perspectives that he wrote that story. Right. And I was just basically saying, well, I mean, we have this in the human world where here's J.K. Rowling and she's crying over characters that don't exist. Mm-hmm. But then you ask yourself, well, are you sure these characters don't exist?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, remember you were saying that people don't write something that's outside of themselves? Right. Like, there's a part of themselves that is in those characters, and it's part of them. And so, to kill off a character, maybe it feels like separating or killing off a part of something that's very close to you. Right.
It's something inside of her that had to die in order for her growth to continue. Mm-hmm. And she was just expressing that through the death of one of the characters in the book or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or she is reenacting a death of some sort of relationship or something to that effect that she's able to ventilate and express and have a cathartic moment when she's writing that and bringing other people into her pain or whatever. So if this thing is true and he's been writing about this kingdom and all the rest of it for 30 years in his music, I mean, that's got a lot of implications. I would love to talk to this guy and be like, all right, what does that do for you? What motivates you to write that?
Did this start when you were a child?
Right.
And you had like the idea of it, and then it was something that you...
I have about 5 or 6 stories. Like,
you are my favorite writer. I wish you would complete that stuff.
That I've written, like the whole thing is finished in my head, and I've never really taken the time to see.
You know what's really like sad is there's people that like that's their dream. Like they want to write a book. They want to, you know what I mean? Like, and they'll like go off in the middle of nowhere to focus in and really try to come up with an idea. And then there are some people that just have that in themselves. I mean, I could come up with a one-dimensional story. You know what I mean? With a couple of twists on it. But your stories, they're like so. Like, I was even confused at first by all the characters because there was so much depth that was in it. It's, to me, it's like the Lord of the Rings type thing where there's like there's multiple stories going on in the same thing. And yeah, like I said, I keep wanting to click on the next episode of your writing and then I'm like, that curses!
But I'm conscious, I know who the characters are and who this person was, and sometimes it's like, this is what I want them to be, or wish they were, or whatever, and or this is the way I would have liked for it to happen, or whatever. And so, like, I know that I'm living through, like, vicariously through these characters. I know that for a fact.
That's interesting.
I'm conscious of it. I'm not sure. Well, that's because but I'm not sure that everybody thinks that way or no. But anyway, so that's the setting is Ravendark, and there's a certain line in here. For some reason, some lines.
So, Ravendark is the setting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ravendark is... I'm not sure. I'm not sure if... So, Blashyrkh, BlashyRkh, is Blashyrkh by name, Blashyrkh by fire, Towers of Ice, Shadows of Gods, Tales of the One Frozen Kingdom. Right there, right? So, the kingdom is called Blashyrkh, and then Ravendark, I don't know what Ravendark is. Is it a person? Is it the capital of Blashyrkh?
Where does it talk about it again?
What are you talking about?
Ravendark.
Oh, it talks about it throughout the entire song. The first mention of it...
I'm looking for the first mention.
...is in the chorus. Mighty Ravendark, mighty Ravendark. Under the mountainside...
in the shadows of thy raven realm.
Right.
So maybe that...
So I don't know. Maybe it's one of the gods. Maybe one of the gods of the... whatever you call it. And obviously, this is... he's talking about the Northern Kingdom and things like that. This is... he's from Europe. He's in one of these Nordic areas where it's cold and snowy all the time, I think. He's a chief lyricist, yada yada yada. But they're from Sweden, I think, or something like that. So, and then it's like your environment absolutely. I'm not going to say dictates and controls how you write. But, like, you even see it in the Bible where David's like, as the deer, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Like, they don't write, like, about darkness and gloom and things like that because they're in a, Mediterranean environment. And so the Psalms all reflect the fact that you're in a Mediterranean environment. A lot of these guys, they're coming from, not a lot of sun, not a lot of vitamin D.
Yeah.
so like...
don't get low on your vitamin D, people.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
And definitely don't get low on your vitamin D and then try to go to a gym. Good night.
Do such a thing.
Yeah, and so like he's your environment is absolutely going to influence how you write. And I don't think I think it's most obvious in black metal, especially like the European stuff, because like it's this constant theme about going into the woods. And
there's a lot of the woods. They create such a dramatic scene.
Yeah,
when he said something about the wintry right here, beyond the wintry woods, winds they call. Here under the might of its greatness I roar. Like that part, under these mountainsides rises no sun, whereas the icy cold mountains are one beyond the wintry woods. And actually, believe it or not, this kind of made me think of Fortnite. Because right now in Fortnite, there's like all this like wintry wind that's bringing like you can't even see sometimes because it's blowing snow all over the place.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But you have to be in those environments to be able to write like that. I agree.
Yeah, and then he talks about the gods and all that, and I am not particularly certain that they did not have some sort of interaction, like their ancestors did not have some sort of interaction with the gods of the woods. But that's a completely different story. But it's really interesting because when you're in high school and everybody's trying to figure themselves out, like a kid who writes stuff like this is going to get made fun of. Right, but but if you put some tremolo picking behind it and you put some dark imagery behind it and you go Rah! Then all of a sudden it's acceptable to write that way.
That's true.
But if you were to just stand up in class and say the winter rise, no sun, da da da, there'll be like one deep girl that'll get it, but you will pay the price. You know what I mean? It's just weird to me. Like sometimes. This is a crazy analogy, but Joe Rogan was talking about why he doesn't like orange juice, and he was saying that the whole point is the fiber that the orange gives you, and the sugar in orange juice is basically nature's way of trying to get you to take your medicine. How your mom
you should have the pulp.
Puts the how your mom puts the the medicine in with the cereal, and then you eat it, and like so that's so he's like man, you got this juice that takes out all the fiber and all you're left with is the sugar, which is completely destructive to my, because I'm like, I quit soda and I'm drinking orange juice all the time and Gatorade and da-da-da-da, which orange juice is still better than but the point is like you have to have something to kind of carry the husk of what nature or God is trying to get you to ingest. And so it's like, it's kind of like this, like you can't just stand up and say stuff like this. Especially as a dude, like it's not cool, it's not whatever. But if you put all the other aesthetic stuff around it, then all of a sudden it's like it's okay. Yeah, this is metal, and but this guy was obviously had this in his soul for years. Like it didn't start when he created the band. Like he was always an obviously gifted poet.
Oh yeah. And
I'm assuming, I don't know, English may not even be his first language. And so if English is not his first language, I mean, the way that he's able to construct this stuff, it's unbelievable what these guys are doing. Like they're and that's the last song on the record too, Mighty Ravendark.
Yeah.
So it looks like a whole like call to ice and things like that, and it's very interesting because
did you say call to
call to ice is the name of song 5, I think. The other thing that's interesting to me is like in this particular song, usually it's about the gates of hell, we're gonna open up, blah blah blah, it's gonna flood the world, yada yada yada. But like the gates are frozen here, like it's it's like a frozen kingdom of like complete ice, which is a little bit unique in the sense of like they're not trying to go, at least on this record, they're not trying to go the route of standard black metal, which is to use satanic imagery and yada yada. I think some Christians will be offended at the concept of gods plural. We obviously are not, for obvious reasons. Reasons only obvious to our Bible boogers. Just say it that way.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, well.
yeah. As long as the gods lead you to the true God, then obviously we're good with it. So, I just mindless voices speak through the heart of the gods from the winter woods they call. That's pretty crazy. And I'm sorry. I just think that happens, man. Like we were not created to live in these concrete jungles. Like we were created out of the dirt, man. You're made up of dirt and water mostly. Yep. It's like I said, listen, 60% water, 20% dirt, and 20% arrogance. Like that's a human being. So like, it's the celebration of nature and somehow being able to make contact with divine beings in nature, and I think he's like exploring that within himself, and I think a lot of
I liked it. I liked the vocals. I liked the sound of it, the way that I don't know, like I'm not completely like a this genre of metal person, but this one I was like, I like this, and the beginning was interesting too, the way that they started it out.
I think this is probably the sweet spot as far as like the old school original True Cult, we're gonna do horrible recording, horrible production, versus the other side where we've listened to other black metal bands. I forgot the name of the black metal band, it escapes me right now, but it was mega produced, it was very sleek, keyboards and actual vocalists who could sing and things like that. And I'm not saying that that's bad, but I think this is kind of like right down the middle, because it was good production, but it wasn't like over the top sleek. Like some of these black metal bands are like better produced than pop songs. So, and I obviously, you know, don't necessarily have a problem with that, but to me, this struck a very, very good balance where you could still be, I think you could still be an old school, like, True Cult black metal person and like this song, and at the same time be one of those, like, new generation, I like good production and like the song, so.
Did you see what the album title is? Northern Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. All right, what do you get song?
This is 9.2 for me.
Yo,
what? Really, same thing?
9.2. I had 9.2 in my head. Very good, very good.
It's a sign.
Good pick, True Cult. Good pick. Keep them coming. Vin out.
Thorio.
Gone.